My name's Monisha Warren and this is my showreel. If you'd like to see some examples of full packages I've put together, just skip to the end. ஆக்ஸ்ஃபோர்ட் பல்கலைக்கழகம் மீண்டும் கொரோனா கிருமி தடுப்பூசி சோதனைகளை தொடங்கியுள்ளது. ஒரு நோயாளி நோய்வாய்ப்பட்ட பின்னர் சோதனைகள் நிறுத்தப்பட்டன. விக்டோரியாவின் அவசர நிலை 4 வாரங்களுக்கு நீட்டிக்கப்பட்டுள்ளது. நியூ சவுத் வேல்ஸில் 9 புதிய கோவிட் கிருமி நோயாளிகள் உள்ளன. குயின்ஸ்லாண்டிலும் மேற்கு ஆஸ்திரேலியாவிலும் புதிய கோவிட் நோயாளிகள் யாவரும் இல்லை.
Other states have already started moving towards a travel bubble that will allow Australians to cross state borders as well as international ones. New Zealand and Australia have struck a deal that will allow Kiwis to travel to New South Wales and the Northern Territory. But for the moment, this is not a two-way street. There are 54 confirmed cases in Perth metropolitan hospitals at the moment, with 12 in the ICU and 48 that have already recovered. Throughout the state in both metro and regional areas, there have been over 14,000 tests with a negative result. All current cases in the state are from overseas travellers or their close contacts, and the government is advising people who need further information to head to the WA Health website. Kate. This is the 36th crash at the Bayswater Bridge since WA's Public Transport Authority started keeping track back in 2014. The 100-year-old bridge is 3.8 metres high and has become a bit of a local legend here in Perth's eastern suburbs. Crashes are often professional drivers in trucks and are so common that the bridge has its own social media accounts as well as a blog that keeps track of everyone. To boost bee populations due to the crucial role that they play in our ecosystem.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison says if a coronavirus vaccine is successfully produced, all Australians will receive it for free and he wants it to be mandatory. Australia has locked in a deal with an international frontrunner being developed by Oxford University. Oil is selling for $42 a barrel and gold has slipped to $1,910 per ounce. The Aussie dollar has dropped slightly and will buy you 71 US cents, 61 euro cents and $1.08 New Zealand. Today we're going to be hitting a top of 21, but right now it's 18 degrees outside. It is a little bit cloudy and windy, and if we're unlucky there could be some rain this morning.
First there was Brexit, now there's Waxit. It's a debate that has spanned decades, but the state's economic success amid coronavirus hard border closures has sparked a new push for West Australia to be its own country.
Look, this is Clive Palmer. These are Clive Palmer's people.
We're not Clive Palmer's people. Here's your chance, Mark. Give us a call.
Founder of WA Republic Party and former United Australia Party candidate Russell Sewell is one of the leaders of the movement for a secession.
Rather than the old way of an East Coast-centric government that does everything that suits the large population base, the political bases on the East Coast, we need to look after ourselves on the West Coast.
The WA Republic Party plans to win seats at next year's state election and break away from the Federation to form a new country called Western Australia.
We're not secessionists. That isn't going to happen, but we are very, very proud West Australians.
Last night's federal budget figures assume WA borders will remain closed until 1st April next year, but the Premier has yet to confirm a date.
Other states have already started moving towards a travel bubble that will allow Australians to cross state borders as well as international ones. New Zealand and Australia have struck a deal that will allow Kiwis to travel to New South Wales and the Northern Territory. But for the moment, this is not a two-way street.
Jacinda Ardern says Australians aren't yet permitted to enter her country and New Zealanders returning home will still have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
We will not open the borders for quarantine-free travel with Australia until it is safe to do so.
Singapore has also eased its travel restrictions for Australians, with the exception of Victoria. Visitors will be swabbed on arrival and will have to quarantine when they return. Monisha Warren, ECU News. Historically, honey has been used in medicine, but a study conducted by Dr. Kiara Duffy at Perth's Harry Perkins Institute of Medical Research finds the honeybee may be the next step towards curing breast cancer.
We investigated the effects of honeybee venom on the different clinical subtypes of breast cancer.
The research conducted with the University of Western Australia used the venom from 312 bees.
I basically went out to the hives and picked up the bees by their wings or their legs and took them up to the lab, and I dissected out the venom glands. And then I took that to the Harry Perkins Institute of Medical Research and tested it on a range of cell lines representative of the clinical subtypes of breast cancer.
But honeybees are under global threat, and this new research could mean that it is more important than ever to conserve the insects. Green groups in Australia, the US and the UK have been working to boost bee populations due to the already crucial role that they play in our ecosystem.
Dr. Duffy says there's still a large amount of research to be done before the study's findings can lead to a viable treatment.
In the future, we will need to test the most optimum method of actually delivering the peptide melatonin in the body, as well as tolerated doses and toxicities.
Research from the study was published in an international journal as part of Dr. Duffy's PhD. Monisha Warren, ECU News. It's the app that's taken the younger generation by storm, but could it be banned in Australia due to potential security threats? The federal government is conducting 2 investigations into TikTok amid fears the Chinese government could pressure the company into sharing information collected from users.
If you're a Chinese entity, there are laws around having to provide data to government.
More than 1.5 million Australians, mainly teens and people in their 20s, have downloaded TikTok to their phones. Their data is stored in the US and Singapore, but the company claims their privacy has not been compromised.
The government could use the Cybercrimes Act or an act like it to ban it under foreign intelligence or national security concerns.
The Chinese consulate have declined to speak on the matter, and the fate of TikTok in Australia is still unknown. Later this month, representatives from TikTok will be part of a committee investigating foreign interference from social media giants.
For now, TikTok enthusiasts will have to wait to see whether a ban comes into effect in